Hey, this is Nick from Remedy667.com, the best place on the internet for horror-themed typefaces and fonts. And today is Horror Font Friday, which means we're going to mess around with some fonts. So I have this interesting specimen that comes from a book cover, I believe. I got it from the inside of a book. It was like a reference, so it's a photo of a photo of a... So I had to put a lot of blur on it to get rid of some of that like half toning on half toning on half toning, but it also did some kind of interesting stuff. And those effects and that tracing, that like smoothness did some interesting things. Also, it's got this effect applied to it. So first off, let's talk about ways to remove the effect that is on these letters, because you can see the angle on that E is going to be different than the angle on this E. So first things first, I'm going to group that and go into my own effects. And is this a flag or a wave? That is the question. And we're going to try and take it back. I don't think it's a flag. I think it's a wave. And this may not work that well. But as you can see, some of the letters appear to be getting better while some get worse. I think it's because we're starting from a spot. You know what? Let's forget any of that ever happened and just ungroup it. We will do some tightening up later. This is going to be a tricky piece of lettering. But it's got a lot, which is good. I probably got an H here. S-T with the R. Uh-oh, they found me. Oh, and that might be everything that we actually have. So not too bad. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is kind of try and get these as balanced as possible using my angles there. So when it's angled, I'm just kind of rotating them back into place slowly, one at a time. Before I get too into it, I'm also going to, based on my E, add a bottom baseline. Sorry for the pause. My phone's going a little off. Also, I tried to grab that and my guides were locked, which is super weird. I had opened a document that had locked guides, and I never lock my guides. Or I guess unless it's going to be troublesome, but it's usually not. Anyway, my phone's going to be beeping because there's some fun PUA encoding discussion happening right now. The H is a little off here, but it's in the other direction, so... And I'm doing I'm doing these by eye. I'm not I'm going to leave this one off a little bit on the top. K's pretty good. Must, because it was in the middle, I'm assuming. This needs to be off a little bit like that.
She feels as if she were a stranger in your house. And the fact that you wish everything to remain as it was makes her think that you still love your first wife. Cynthia feels like a rival. And in her subconscious is this question of doubt. But that's absurd.
The A is so weird. It's very much off. A's like this are pretty interesting. The like very high-waisted. This is weird too for lettering, because if you look at this, the high waist on the A runs even with the E, even with the F, even with the H, which means the G is going to have to end up being really high there. I pulled the F down a little bit, which probably shouldn't have done. Now, like seeing how like everything's so high-waisted, it's a very like, I don't know. In my mind, I want to be like, it's an amateur mistake, but it's not a mistake. Nothing's really a mistake. It's a choice. You know, it's like, and this was obviously a font at some point, because look at the S, you know, there's three drips. The way that drip is the same. It's been modified on here, but I mean, this obviously came from something that was a font that was photographed and then photographed and then photographed, and it lost a lot of its definition, and we are going to breathe new life into it. And we're not going to look at the original font because that's never fun. I do have an I. So I'm dipping ahead of myself here because I get super sidetracked super easy. I think I said last week how I didn't want my D to dip too much. So that's about how I want it right there. That's the way. G. So this is interesting. I have a C already, but I've got another C up here, and because it's been angled and this and that, like, it's the same, but it's different. A lot of it is going to not match up. So I'm going to use that for this piece of lettering. I'm also going to use one of these E's for an L, and probably use the rest of it for the G. I'm going to transform, reflect this. Okay. I want to use this top one because I like this like hatchet axe shape it has. I'm just going to wheel that rounded, and I'm going to cut this away, and I'm going to pull this down, and my little axe head is going to go, whoops, why did I pull that down? That's exactly what it's going to do. It seems like I should pull that down, but no. We just talked about this. So there we go. So that matches up pretty good, rounding that off. And that. And there's our G. I'm going to cut this one up a little bit just so it doesn't run in to That crossbar on the G. Look at how heavy that is on the bottom right.
That's right, my dear.
Not so good.
And now, it's best to relax.
All right, so we're gonna pull it in a little bit. That's a little bit better. I think I may actually want to bring it in there and just let it use the same. That looks much better. Although I do want it to come out a little bit.
Don't disturb my wife. She's not well.
That feels a little more natural.
I think perhaps you better go away for
There's going to be a J that needs to come in there.
You can resume
And this is going to turn into an L.
As you wish, Professor.
Oh, Mother. I shall never forget what you've done for my poor wife.
So I don't know if I was saying this earlier or not, but so on my other computer, for the one that I use for work, has a different version of Illustrator on it, and it, when I zoom in, it just smoothly zooms in. Very nice. But when I use the pencil tool, all of the outlines disappear. So there's pluses and there's bads. I don't think Adobe listens to my feedback. I had to do I guess I didn't you never have to, but I did what do they call them? A survey? Did a survey for Adobe last week. And in the last question, they're like, or one of the last questions, they're like, do you have anything else to say? And I was like, your surveys are too long. I lose interest halfway through. I'm probably not the only one. The answers you're getting aren't going to be very correct. But what do I know? We'll see. Because it always takes, like, I swear I've had surveys from them in the past that I've just, like, stopped doing. Not because I'm evil or, you know, wanted to do something maniacal. But because they're just too long. You know, you're really into it, and then you're like, I have been doing this for 20 minutes. And my break is only 15 minutes or a half an hour. And you're like, I need to get back to work. I don't have time to answer all this BS. Maybe they don't care what I think, you know? Maybe they're looking for people who got 20, 30 minutes in their workday to just not do anything but fill out Adobe surveys. Suits me. I don't have that kind of time.
The moment he wasn't looking, I poured the milk into a flower vase.
Could be Cynthia, that's your husband? Surely you don't believe that he...
I don't know, Kurt. I've only got you who can help me. Don't you
All
understand?
right.
I've only got you.
Yes, Cynthia.
And then last night I woke in a horrible place. And there was Bernard looking at me like some monster.
All right, let's see where we're at. We need a B, J. I think I'm going to make the J with this S and this N. What in the... What is all this stuff popping up? It's driving me crazy.
Anyhow, try to remain calm. Your imagination is much too vivid. Yes, I know. I know it seems real.
Delete that.
Cynthia,
Group that.
I was worried about you. What on earth been looking for you, Professor. In your absence, I entertained her. I see. Well, I think that's
I'm gonna continue that because I'm gonna need that when it comes to some later letters. Actually, quite a few of them, huh? I'm gonna take this O and use that to build out my U. Group that. A V. Is there another M?
I sent her away.
There's so many N's. Let's do this. Let's turn an N into a V. Another way would have been to do like an upside down A, but because there's only one A, I don't really want to take away from that. All right, making our W. Bring it out a little bit. Just that tiny, subtle little that tiny, subtle little difference from the W and the V, just to kind of keep it so they're not identical. I can also flip it. I'm not really gonna get too into that. We're gonna do the 2K X method, which is make it an X with 2Ks. I feel like this is probably the way to do it if you're working on like a standard sans serif font, but it almost always looks completely stupid with a display font. So a display font, you always got to add a lot more work to it because it's just a little bit of touch-ups just to make it look not symmetrical is the word I'm looking for. The other thing about my work computer is the Pathfinder over here. It's on the left. I use it all the time. On that computer, it's on the right. I only like mention it so much. I have like a working file that I keep on that computer that's been on there for like years. And it has like a chunk of fonts that I like draw one or two letters here and there, like, and it's just a very slow burn, slow build of like a ganged up font file. And it's probably been on there for almost 3 years at this point. But what I do with it is sometimes when I have time on my lunch, which today I did because I didn't have to make any motorcycle ads, is I opened it up and was like, oh, I'm gonna work on this. I haven't done any of these in a while. And it's kind of fun because it's like a bunch of fonts that, like, I don't know, they're not done, obviously. They're not anything I even remember half the time. I'm like, whoa, what is this? And because it's a ganged up file, it's like, oh, I'm not like trying to draw out an entire font. It's like, oh, I'm just drawing ampersands today, or like, you know, dollar signs, or, you know, currency. You know, I'm just doing one specific character on like 20 different weird fonts that I haven't seen since the last time I opened the file, which has been a while because the project I'm in the middle of at work is consuming a lot of time, and with the holidays I've had a lot of freelance work come in that I typically will do on my lunch and will take precedence. It's the thing that I will do first. I always look at making fonts as more kind of a fun, when the work is done type of thing. And maybe one day it'll I will make more stuff that people actually buy and use, and what? That is so weird. All right. Then I can be rich and famous. Or maybe just won't have to work 2 jobs. Only me. Group that. Today we're watching The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock in the background. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it before. It has Barbara Steele. The visuals are great. It's just one of those wild gothic kind of mad scientist movies. Or like maybe they're in a haunted house. Something like he brought his new bride to the castle, you know, like the family place, and his housekeeper must be nice. No, his housekeeper, her sister's like living upstairs, and she keeps hearing her while she's sleeping, and everybody's upset for some reason. They're screaming. She hears her like making noises while she's sleeping, so she's like, hey, tell your sister to shut up. And the lady's like, she died, you know? So, way to be a jerk. And I think her husband's like, well, got a lab in the basement or something. Like, he's the one making the noise and causing experiments. He's being all sneaking around and stuff. Now it's over. That's why the music got all fancy. I think I'll just start it again because I need some kind of background music and I don't feel like digging for a DVD right now. So again, this video must be taking forever. I apologize. think what actually happened was I had the movie actually running a while before I started working on this. I am doing this so bad, and I'm not really explaining anything. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I thought about maybe doing this like in a live stream, so if people ask me questions, I could answer them. That being said, they're probably, you know, posts in some side window that I'm not paying any attention to. I also thought of perhaps doing like interviews. So like not people interviewing me, like, I mean, I don't think I'd really be able to interview people that well either, thinking about it. But essentially have like another person up here in the retail space. Then I couldn't have any background anything, which I think is fine. But and would just, you know, talk with a special guest, which might be fun if I could figure that out. I guess I would do it through a Google call. I don't know what that's called. I do know what it's called. I'm just half paying attention, which is why an interview would be so funny. A Google Meet. I have like a mirror of the screen. I guess it's over there. So I keep looking at it. Like if something falls off the screen on my screen, I'm like, oh. But it's just a mirror of my screen. But anyway, let me know if you like the interview idea. I mean, not necessarily an interview. It'd be more like a conversation, but like essentially just, and I don't even know if you'd be able to see my, yeah, I guess I would do a screen share, right? It'd be a call. So there'd be two people on Google Meet. And, two people on Google Meet. And then I would do a screen share of Illustrator. And then I would just sit here and draw letters while we talk. And maybe I'd have a beer or something.
Good evening, Inspector. Good evening. Do you think he'll be all right? Well, he's had a very severe blow, but I've done everything possible for him.
I think that might be pretty fun.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, Inspector. The professor's done everything he can. Don't worry, your father will be all right.
All right. Should we do some multilinguals? I know that's kind of what I've been doing from here. I think I just need an I and an S to start it off. Oh, I mean... oh, you jerk. I need... to do a multilinguals, I need more than that. Yes. I need an E. I need a P. I need an I. Get those out of the way. All right, this is my punctuation, which is what I meant to say the first time. So first things first, period. Then comma. You drag that up.
Please tell my wife I'm very tired this evening, and so I'm going straight up to my room.
Everything's ready upstairs, sir.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Mother. I don't know if I've been doing it in these videos or if I kind of work on these in the background quite a bit. I don't know. It's kind of a blend of like something I do when I'm nervous or have a lot of work to do and I need to like process things. I just kind of make letters. So I kind of constantly evolve my process of how I do this. And I don't know if I'd been doing those in there at the moment or not. When I say those, I'm talking about period centered and bullet that happened there.
I feel very tired.
Please forgive us, my dear.
Thanks so lovely. Good night. Good night, Margaret. Come again soon.
Group. This will give us Spanish. Remember, an S on top of an I. I think monotype had something like an S on top of an I. It's not a question mark. I like read somewhere that they get a lot of people who submit fonts have backward question marks. That may not be the case anymore. I feel like that might have been something I probably did when I was starting out quite a bit, if I was even drawing inverted question marks. But this is all stuff you kind of get used to in time. I read a thing earlier that Martina Floor had written, and she was talking about how, you know, all the students and stuff, she's been teaching lettering and for a while, and she's like, everybody's so talented now and everything's become so easy, and there's so many like templates and shortcuts and stuff that, like, you know, to be talented is not enough anymore. You're not like a rarity if you're a talented one. Look at this. We gotta use this again, making the eth, because I really need to learn how to pronounce the eth. But it's gonna have that high waist. Group. Let's actually get this all the way to the side here. But it got me thinking, because I did that portfolio day the other couple weeks ago, and those kids were super talented. And I was looking at their stuff and I was like, holy crap, like, these kids are going to school for illustration, but some of the stuff they're learning is like more complicated than what I did in graphic design. You know, like the things that they understand about layout and this and that. I would say that the illustrators when I was in college didn't know about that, but I don't think there were many illustration majors then. There may have been. Maybe I'm just being short-sighted. I remember there were a couple illustrators that I went to school with at Mecca, but then I also went to community college. There was a kid that was an illustrator that really wanted to work for Disney, which I thought was kind of weird because this was like in the mid-2000s. And I think Finding Nemo was like the current movie, and there was like all this talk about how it was made in Illustrator or with Illustrator or in conjunction with Illustrator. So I'm pulling this S here aside. Sorry to just leave you high and dry with my fancy Finding Nemo story. But we're making a ASCII tilde, which will turn into our actual tilde. But the ASCII one, I mean, it is what it is.
Darling, I've been waiting for you.
I'm going to take this period and make an umlaut, which will give us, I think it'll finish off our German compatibility for multilinguals. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I remember taking German in high school, you know, so many years ago, because, you know, 2 years of high school German in the 90s, it's an expert. But I remember the umlaut, and I remember the asset. And while we got a period, we're going to go ahead and make a dot accent. So there's a lot of other punctuation that we could, would, will, maybe at some point make. But right now, we're just going to kind of pause right there and take a look at this font. That is the Frankenscience Monster. It's pretty interesting. We have our full alphabet. We've got our numerals, 0 through 9. We've got our basic punctuation. No @ symbol or number sign or any of that. But I kind of ran out of space. These Font Friday ones I've been doing are pretty big in size. But so we have our upside down punctuation, which will work for Spanish, which is what we also have the tilde. S set for German. Some Norwegian characters and some diacritics. And that's it. That's it. That's all we're doing for this one for now. If you want me to come revisit some of these in later weeks and actually film that, I can do that. But right now, that is the Frankenscience Monster from remedy667.com. And maybe we'll finish this one off one time. We'll see. I'm in the middle of a lot of other stuff right now. I will see you next week. Have fun. Let me know what you think about live calls or having other people in the video. Maybe it'll be a little more talkative, less boring. I don't know. These have been running pretty long, so next week, be there.